Hi guys, it's LSP. It's currently the 14th of January, 10:43 in the morning. I just want to do a quick follow-up on the look ahead. Okay, there's not a great deal that's happened so far. Just to note, on the calendar this week, there is the parliamentary vote for Brexit, or the Brexit parliamentary vote tomorrow. You've also got Draghi speaking, and there's some other speakers. You've got G20 meetings this week. It's going to be nuts, I think. I think this week's going to be very, very crazy. I'll be quite interested to see what price does tomorrow on cable. I'm not in a rush, guys. I did put it in the Telegram room as well. And if anybody's watching this and they're not part of that Telegram room, it's free. You can just download Telegram if you don't already have it. The link's below to the room, and I just put some things in there from time to time. Keep everybody abreast of the videos that are going up and anything that of interest to study during the week. I think it's going to be a crazy week. If you look at the calendar way that it's kind of set out, the economic calendar this week, and I use Forex Factory, and sometimes the MyFX book one, but Forex Factory, it's not something that is conducive to clean trading. I think they're going to be using a lot of the news releases, to drive price to areas where they need to rebalance price, where they need to take stops, where they need to push people out of the marketplace, get people on the wrong side. There's going to be a lot of manipulation this week. At least that's what I see based on my experience. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just, I'm being cautious this week. I don't really want to be pushing things. So with that said, it's a patience game. It's a waiting game. I like to see price do its thing. Once prices move to certain levels, and you see the price sensitivity around those levels or the reaction, that's when you can kind of reassess and say, okay, they kind of wouldn't have done that unless they were going to do this, and so on and so on. And it's more like a, how can I say? It's like when I look at the charts, it's like a puzzle for me. I look at the charts and I wait for certain pieces to be put in place, and then when I'm confident and I see something that makes sense to me personally, that's when I'll take an entry. But again, there's really no reason to kind of force things. So looking at the dollar index, guys, we had the levels marked off. They're still there. We've had pretty much quite a muted day today. There's nothing really happening. We have the level up here and we have the level down here. I still believe that the liquidity or the draw on price is lower here, and here there is an inefficiency down here. So if we do start to drive lower and we take out, this level here and this level here, then I do believe we're probably going to tag, the 94.15 and maybe even drive a little bit lower to 94. Okay, if we do start to push higher, it will just be, in my opinion, it will just be, to maybe take to more shorts up here at 95.70, but we'll see. I'll just drop down to the hourly, just kind of get a feel for what's happening today. You can see a bit of a muted day. It would make sense, to be honest, it would actually make sense based on the current price structure the way that it is now. It actually would make sense for price to drive higher and fill in this very small gap here. And if it does do that, it may even tag that down candle right here, which would take us into that 95.70 level and slightly higher. And you can see how these things all line up nicely. So that's something that I'm going to be paying attention to this week. But again, until we see that move either way, there's nothing really for us to do. Any trade that we take now based on the dollar index as a confirmation tool, as a tool that we use to decide whether or not we're going to be going long or short on foreign currencies. Sorry, what did I just say? My apologies, guys. Any trade that we would take right now, based on what I've just said, with the dollar index, would just simply be an anticipatory trade. If I went long right now, it would just be purely based on, it came down here and now it's kind of growing high and it kind of looks like it wants to drive up there. That's not enough for me. It really isn't enough. I said in the Telegram room, we're in the business of making money. We're not in the business of, trying to be smart. I don't really care about being right or wrong. The only thing I care about is my analysis correct based on my experience? And if so, did I take the correct entry based on my trading rules? That's pretty much it. I don't sit there and think, I'm going to take a trade now, and as it grinds higher, for example, let's say I take a long right now on the dollar, and it grinds higher and goes to this level perfectly, and then respects that level, and I exit the trade. That for me, it actually has a counterproductive result, because there's too much emotion there. It's more about, oh look, I was right, instead of just saying, let price do its thing, let price show you what's going to happen. For example, just to give you an idea, guys, of what I'm talking about, let's say price just drives lower right now, okay? Takes out the liquidity below these lows, fills in the inefficiency here, and then rips all the way back up and then starts to drive higher, and price is sitting right here. And let's say it does that within the next hour. What's that telling you? Like if you actually wait for this stuff, to happen, that tells you so much. It's telling you that it's very unlikely at that point that price is going to continue going low. It's probably going to drive towards this high, this high, this high, and fill in the gap, and then possibly touch this this down candle right here. So why not wait for that? If price drives higher, takes out the liquidity, and then starts to reverse, and let's say you don't get it this week, and then next week it starts to drive lower, lower, lower to take out the the liquidity below here, and you see the inefficiency, you say, what, I still have enough range for me to take a trade, so you start to take a trade lower, based on everything that's just happened prior to that. So you have to wait for this stuff. It's really important. Now, obviously, I'm not telling people how to trade. This is all for educational purposes. They're studies, they're things that you guys can watch, and just get a better feel for how price moves, and what I personally look for. And if that helps people, great. I can't tell you what to do, but that's what I personally do. I know plenty of traders that anticipate trades and they do well. I know somebody who trades for a living. He's in the city. They've got their own business. He trades on the futures market. They have their own offices, lots and lots of screens, lots of news, all that stuff. That would drive me crazy. But he does really well for himself. I'm laughing because I know the car he's driving. It's unbelievable. He does very, very well. But I couldn't. I've had countless conversations with this guy, and I personally couldn't trade the way that he trades. It's too stressful, way too stressful for me to anticipate trades like that. Wait for news releases, and take trades based on whatever volatility is there at the time. I just can't do that. I need to see confirmation of what I'm attempting to to trade, and then and only then, once I've seen that confirmation, will I open a trade. But again, only based on my own personal trading rules. So as it stands, dollar-wise, I want to see something, and we're going to get it this week, guys. It's going to happen. I think we're going to get some crazy price action. So it's one or the other, But it's the reaction after the move that I'm interested in. I want to see rejection. I'm a big fan of rejection. It's something that I've used, going all the way back to, my scalping QCOM days. I need to see rejection. It's very, very important for me, So let's go over to the euro. And what I'm going to do, weekly, can't really work off the weekly. I'm going to take these two price levels off, guys, because they're, we can use the candle here, it's fine. You can see we've opened today, up, down, or down, up. I'm not sure which way it went first. Yeah, up, down. We are within this this candle. So let's have a look here. This is let me see. Yeah, we should. No, I don't need to mark it off. It's fine. We should stay within this. If we react off this level and start to grind higher, like I said yesterday in the look ahead video, then I'm expecting this to be taken and this to be taken and maybe drive up into this inefficiency up here. But we need to see something. We need to see price drive one way or another. And right now it just looks like they're waiting for tomorrow's news. There's no news today. They're waiting for tomorrow's news, and we're going to get some price action. We're going to get some volatility and injection of volatility into the marketplace, and we should see what happens there. And then we can kind of reassess and maybe take a trade on Wednesday. But there's a lot of speakers this week. You've got the G20 as well. So I'm kind of just, like I said, just being very, very patient. not in a rush, just being very, very patient. In terms of hourly, it is looking like, just based on this, what I'm seeing right now, it is looking like we're probably going to drive lower to take out the liquidity here and here. And again, this is just a study now for me. You can see we've got the consolidation here. We've left this consolidation, kind of just grinding lower. And if if you think about it like this, everything that you see on this price chart right now, right, think about, just for argument's sake, open, goes up, comes all the way back down, and let's say it closes down here, okay? What would this price action right here, this up and down, be on a higher time frame? Yeah, really think about that. It's going to be a wick, right, or a tail. So I don't need to look at the daily chart or the weekly chart or the monthly chart to know that that is a tail or a wick on a higher time frame, which means I'm getting the rejection that I like to see. Okay, it's just more pronounced and fleshed out on the hourly chart. So I'm expecting this to be taken down here. The more I look at it, the more I'm expecting all of these lows, all the liquidity down here to be tagged. And it will, if it does go down there, I'm not going to say will because that's too absolute. But if it goes down there, let me just extend that. But if it goes down there, then I'm expecting that this level here will be tagged. Okay, and we do have plenty of range, for that to happen. About 50 pips as well. So, between 50 and 55 pips. So there is room. What I would like to see, honestly, I'd like to see price drive higher, fill in some of this void, reject, start to grind lower, and then key off of an area down here to take that move into all of this liquidity down here. That would be the perfect trade for me. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. And again, no rush. We'll see what happens for the remainder of the day and then going into tomorrow. Pound-wise or cable-wise, again, nothing much on Sunday. Today we've opened, we've come down a little bit. We're starting to grind a little bit higher. But again, nothing really, to shout home about. Nothing special. Obviously, the price structure on cable is a little bit more bullish, and it is possible they're probably going to drive high. And this is not me. This is somebody that I work with that mentioned something in his study and sent it over to me, to review it. And he was saying it looks like they're going to be driving price higher on cable to then drop price. So basically, give everybody the false impression, that price is bullish and that it's going to, go up, get a lot of people long, and then they'll just drop it during this parliamentary Brexit vote, which I thought was an interesting idea, and it's something that I've got in the back of my mind. It's not something that I want to trade from, but it's something that I've got in the back of my mind. It's just something to be mindful of, something to be aware of, because we have to we've got to try our best to kind of put ourselves in the mindset of those that are in control of the market, the ones that have deep pockets, and kind of get a feel for what we think they are trying to do, because ultimately they're there to make money. They're not there to to give us a free ride. So we kind of have to ride on their tailcoats, or they're the sharks and we're the little fish going in there, taking a couple of nibbles, and then off we go before we're spotted. So again, I've said it so many times in this video. No rush. I want to see how we kind of fare at this level. Let's put the day dividers up, and we'll see. It is more bullish than euro, so yeah, take a look at the 4 hour, see what we've got. Rebalanced here. I mean, the only level really is the 129.20, which we had marked off a couple of weeks ago, or not a couple of weeks ago, but about a week and a bit ago. So if we do drive up into that area, then I would expect the 129.20 to get tagged and pretty much stop at that point, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Again, no rush. But I will point something out, because I absolutely love when price does this. You guys saw me mark this off obviously the week before, and throughout the week as price action was moving around, I marked off this level, the blue line, like the blue shaded area, and look at the price sensitivity around this level. We have you know, bumps its head, you know, you can see price goes into, and this is just a visual representation of what price is doing, but price goes into this level, moves away from that level, comes back up again, sensitivity, again, overshoots, sensitivity, comes back through it, sensitivity, sensitivity. Bodies of the candles are all staying within this area, comes out of it, sensitivity, sensitivity. And then when we finally get this drop, takes out the liquidity below here, well, below here and here, really nice push away from, into the rebalancing up here, okay, drops down, respects that level, drops down, respects that level, moves away. And now we're kind of finding a little bit of support around this level. So these are all kind of it's like an order flow of what's happening on the chart. And if you really pay attention, like these tiny little nuances that you see on the lower time frames, will actually give you a really good indication as to what's actually happening within that area. If you look at a daily chart, for example, we don't see any of that. Obviously, you know, it's a higher time frame, it's just one candle. We don't see any of that sensitivity within that price level. But when we drop down to the lower time frames, it gives us a better indication as to what's happening. And a better way of saying that is, I marked this level off here during the weekly look ahead, the first one that I did, as I, you know, since I've been back on YouTube, and I marked it off beforehand. And obviously, I was aware of the level, and as price started to drive towards that level, you start to mark off areas within that level, and then you see how price reacts at that level. And it's a really good exercise to do. Even backtesting exercise, but it's better to do, with live price action, because you can actually watch it. One of the things that I'm a big fan of, is using some sort of screen recording software, to basically record price, for 2-3 hours, and then actually replay that price and watch, the price levels reacting at these, watch price reacting at these specific levels. It's such a good learning tool. Because you're still watching live price action. As long as you haven't seen what's happened, let's say I record the screen right now and I leave it for 3 hours, and then I come back to it and watch that video. I can basically mark off some levels, and see where I believe price should be going, or where, whether it's bullish or bearish, and mark off, everything on the chart, and then just sit there for 3 hours and watch price. I know it seems like a bit extreme to sit there and watch price for 3 hours, but we're doing that anyway on a daily basis. So it's such a good learning tool. So if anybody's got screen recording software, you can use Camtasia. If you've got a Mac, you can just use, I think it's like Command Shift and 5 to record the screen software. You can use QuickTime. You can use some free software. There's OBS, I think it is OBS. I believe you can use that as screen recording software as well. There's loads. There's so many free software programs out there, open source as well, which you can use to record the screen. You don't necessarily have to pay, hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars, for Camtasia, and record the screen and go through that price action. It's a great learning tool. All right, guys. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to be patient this week. I'm going to see what happens tomorrow during the news release. And I'll just tell you now, just give me 1 second. I'm going to check, because I'm recording the screen already, so I don't want to mess that up. I'm just going to have a look on my phone. So tomorrow you have the parliamentary Brexit vote, which is tentative, so it could be at any time. Okay, and prior to that, you have the first news release, which is going to be at 1:30 GMT time, which would be during the New York session, the PPI and core PPI. So and then 3 o'clock we've got Draghi speaking. So there is that parliamentary Brexit vote can happen at any time. So just be really cautious tomorrow, guys. I can't tell you what to do. It's your own trading, your own life. But I can only say what I'm going to do. I'll say it like this. Just I'm going to be very patient, and I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do anything tomorrow. I'm just going to wait, be patient. And I'm going to allow price to unfold, and then I'm going to reassess in the evening, and I'm going to see where we fare. Unless, and I will put an unless in there, the parliamentary vote is done in the morning at some point, or early enough, for there to be enough of a trading session, for me to, take a trade based on everything that I like to see. And if I do see that, obviously I'll record that, if I can, and I'll let you guys watch that. All right, so I'll leave it at that. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch up with you either late this evening in just a recap video, or I will speak to you tomorrow during the morning. Alright, take care guys, LSP out.